triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica, one people, one legacy.
Get up on, no, don't stop. Future bright, the vibes nice.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is another, oh my God, I was just about to say it is another Thursday. It is actually Monday. Yes, normally I'm not here on a Monday, but guess what, guys? It is CHAMPS. And for those of you who don't know what CHAMPS is, it is the Jamaica High School Track and Field Championship, and we're in the season. We are just a week away. Next week, Monday this time, we will be about ready to start Boys and Girls Champs. So welcome each and everyone, whether you're coming from Africa, Europe, Antarctica, Oceanic, North America, South America, wherever you're coming from, Asia. Welcome, welcome. And guess what? Tonight is all about, you see the color, I don't even have to tell you, but tonight is all about North Street. Tonight is all about Kingston College. So welcome, guys. Thank you for being here. Already I see some FORTIS people rolling in. Tamika, welcome. Andrea Bliss, St. Jago, welcome. So St. Jago is in the house already. And also Kingston College is in the house already. And tonight we're just, for the next few days, we're just going to be lining with different schools, hanging out, chit-chatting with, people from different schools and just buzzing, because at the end of the day, it is all about Jamaica. And I'm not going to waste any more time talking. I'm just going to bring in my guest now. And of course, my guest is Richard Bowen. He is a FORTIS man. If you're a FORTIS supporter, you will know who Richard Bowen is. And of course, any school that is on this week, I will be wearing their colors. And of course, I'm in my purple and white here, repping for North Street. Richard, welcome. How are you?
I am outstanding and improving, Heather. Thanks for having me. It's nice to see you in the purple, because I know the true colors that you celebrate in when I first met you. No, yeah, they're up the way. So we'll sort them out a little later this week too, as well.
Indeed, 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 indeed. When I met, and as Richard is saying, I met Richard years ago when I was working with Singer Jamaica Limited, and of course, Richard as a FORTIS man. I was one of the few people that could turn up in Richard's booth in my
Right.
black green and have drinks and eat and chat,
That's right.
and here we
And
are
be merry.
tonight. And be
Yes.
merry, be merry. At the end of the day, it is one Jamaica we see. Of course, there's Marlon Walker, who is also here. He's saying good night. And Marlon Walker is repping for Meadowbrook. So Meadowbrook is in the house. And of course, Nick Heart of Love is saying KC all the way. Daniel England is also here. And of course, Daniel England is saying Calabar 61.
Hi,
Ready.
Daniel. I know Daniel very well. Hello, Daniel.
Yeah, man. Daniel, the veteran, one of the veterans from CHAMPS, is here. And, just to kick things off, Richard, welcome. But before we get into the meat of the matter, I'm going to ask you a question we're going to break the ice. We're going to
Sure.
break the ice now. Which boys' school in Jamaica is the best high school?
Is that a rhetorical question? We are unapologetically purple. It's a very difficult and hard question to ask someone that's a layperson that doesn't go to one of the 7 boys schools, because there are only 7 boys schools in Jamaica, while there are 13 girls schools in Jamaica, predominantly girls. Everything else is co-ed. For me, obviously, it's Kingston College, and there are many, many reasons why. It is that we teach our boys to be young men, and we have a motto, that the brave may fall but never yield. But what does that mean in its long run? It means
Before
that
you go there,
we.
before you go there, let us not touch the motto yet because I have that
Mhm.
question to ask. But before you go there, Kingston College is celebrating 100 years this year. Started in 1925, if I'm correct. A little birdie told me it was actually Tamika, who is here on the live, hinted me that Kingston College is celebrating 100 years this
Yes.
year. Just tell me a little bit about the celebration. What are some of the things that the school is doing, the institution is doing to commemorate this big milestone?
Well, before I answer that, let me say this to you, Heather. I sent the link to Mr. Mary, our principal and chief executive officer. I like to call him. He asked me last night about the show. I told him because I introduced Mr. Mary in 2012. I don't know if you remember. You said yourself and Katie and Simone
Simone.
and
Mhm.
Sharon, yeah, and Sharon as well. Way back in 2012. Um, there's a number of events that's going on. We would have launched off our celebration at the Pegasus in 2023, if I remember correctly. And there are a number of events that are going on. We had something called 99 Years Road to 100, and we started off with our Fortis 5K. This was in January,
Mhm.
and I must tell your girlfriend, yeah, we painted the entire New Kingston purple. We started at Emancipation Park, and we went through Oxford Road and then up to Worthington Avenue, back down onto Trafalgar, back down onto the in a New Kingston, circle around down Whitman Road, back up on Halfway Tree Road, and back up on Oxford Road. So we had that first event on in January called the Fortis 5K, and it was well supported. And I must say, I want to take this opportunity to thank all those who supported it. And when I say supported it, it wasn't just KC persons or KC supporters or KC wives or KC sisters or KC fans. The Georgians who came out and supported us. Believe it or not, my friends from Calabar came out and supported us and put on their green and black. Yes, the fellows from up at Jamaica College came out and supported it because it's 100 years. And we believe that if you have something good and you keep it a secret, it stays a secret. So our celebrations is not about just with Kingston College alone. It's going into now the other event is going into a number of events. It's going into CHAMPS now. Um,
Mhm.
we're going to have a CHAMPS brunch on CHAMPS Saturday. On Thursday of CHAMPS, the Wagahorn Foundation is going to be having a Thursday Lime at NHT. And then on the Saturday, hopefully, let me be humble, hopefully, or when we win, it will be a great celebration as well. And then it falls into our actual centenary month. Although we're going the entire year, our
Mhm.
actual centenary month is in April. So we're going to have a number of activities there. We're going to have a church service again in April. We're going to be launching off our centennial stamp, right? The post office on I believe that's on the 16th. And on the 17th, we have the centenary dinner and awards itself. And then it then matriculates itself into the US. Then it goes into there's a first event on May 3rd at Vizcaya Park in Pembroke Pines. And
Mhm.
then we have a day fete there. And from that, it goes several other events. It goes into the South Florida barbecue, which is at Markham Park, and then it goes from that's in August, and it crosses over to Tampa, and it goes to the Fortis in the Park. Hi Tampa people, Orlando people, there as well, and then it turns back itself around and comes back to what we call the Big Purple Session. Now, I don't know if you ever heard about the Big Purple Session. The Big Purple Session started in 1998. We started at a place called Walter C. Young in Pembroke Pines. And the auditorium, it was a high school auditorium, could hold like 800 people. And we had 1,300 persons in there. That
Wow.
first year, that first year is when Winston Blake played there for 2 years, and then we matriculated and brought in Fab Five, and Fab Five played for a number of years. We had to move from there and go to the Cultural Center in Miramar, right? And we had 1,800 persons, 1,900 persons, 2,000 persons, and then we had to matriculate from there to Cooper City, to the Jewish Hall, which fit much more persons. You know where you know? We are at Gulfstream Park, the Kings and
Wow.
Queens. That's right. We are Gulfstream Park. Last year we had Fab Five. No, sorry, excuse me. Third World played, and we
Mhm.
had approximate, and even with the hurricane that passed through the Florida time itself, we had
Mhm.
about 2,100 persons there. And the
Wow.
thing about, yeah, is really nice. The thing about, you know, Kingston College, especially with the diaspora, we all support each other.
Mhm.
So if a case is keeping a fundraiser or a party or Calabar or Meadowbrook, hi Mark Swaby, a Meadowbrook person is here on your feed too. We support each other, and as a result, when they go to Kingston College or not, they come out and have a great time. So there's a number of events going on here, and we also are having in July. Maybe I forgot this one. Something called the Gibson Cup. So the Gibson Cup, it started. Gibson Cup is only it's similar to the Roper Cup, right? But it's between Kingston College and Glenmuir, right? Because KC as an Anglican school, we have a lot of brother sister schools. So again, our thing is that if you have something good and you keep it a secret, it stays a secret. And you
Indeed.
and I may not live to be 100 years. Anything,
Indeed.
whether you live to be 100 years, which an institution of 100 years, you have to celebrate that, and you can't celebrate that in a vacuum. You have to use mind expansion, and that's what we are trying to use. So what we have done is we're inviting 9 other schools to participate in the Gibson Cup, which are Queens, St. Hugh's, St. Hilda's, Glenmore themselves, St. George's College, who's our father, right? But let me just take a look up at them. They say that the son must perfect the father, right? St. George's is 3 times our age, but we are trying to perfect that as well. We are also inviting, as I said, St. Hilda's, Churches Teachers College, what Bishop Gibson actually founded. We are inviting the Cartridge College, and we're going beyond head up just football. So we're adding 3 more sports. So the entire day we're going to have football, we're going to have basketball, we're going to have netball, and we're going to have tennis. But the
So
tennis is going to be
where will this be held? Kurt
on the
Vine?
grounds of North Street. So this will be held
Wow.
at North Street. Yeah, this is held on North Street, on the grounds of North Street, and we'll be utilizing the entire grounds itself. And we are going to be also where there will be no issues with parking because we're going to be engaged in St. George's College. We have
Mhm.
engaged St. George's College with that, so it's going to be a grand affair. And we tend to call the tennis section of it the Russell Lumsden tennis classic. You know that Richard Russell just recently passed a few months ago. Great tennis player, one that went to the Wimbledon and actually beat Arthur Ashe in a doubles match as well. So
Wow.
those are things that has made Kingston College great. Our partners across this up the road and around our Reddit
Your
road say that
your neighbor, your neighbor.
my neighbor sometimes jab us and say, listen, we don't have a prime minister yet. And that is true. We don't have a prime, but we have many leaders around the
Yes,
world.
and I'm going to list
Many,
some of them. I have some of
many,
them on my list, some of
many,
the
many,
influential people who have
right.
passed through the doors of Kingston College. But before
Hmm.
we even
Yeah.
get any deeper tell me a little bit about your experience as a student at Kingston College. Just a little summary of your experience because I know
I
it's a big story, but just summarize
Yeah,
it
it
for us.
is. It is. It is. It is. You know, I tell you, I'm fortunate because I am second generation Kingston College. My son is third generation Kingston College. I went into KC in 1972. So I went into Kingston College with a group of persons, my cousin Martinita, my brother, Alexander, and my oldest brother, Clarence. But Clarence actually went to St. George's College and ended up at KC at lower six and upper six. Um, so my time at Kingston College was excellent. I mean, I have friends today that I had when I went into first form, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what I tell the students when I go down on September morning, as we call it. We answer, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. For us, school was not a chore for me. For my cohort, my colleagues that were just ahead of me, ones that were behind me, and the ones that were with me, it was a pleasure. It was a really joy, and because of that, what I must mention, um, Heather, is that the old boys at the time and now inspired myself, right? Because I had persons. I went out and I'm a sportsman, right? And I went out and I tried five sports, believe it or not, at Kingston College. End up doing representing in three, right? Because I actually had gotten a C plus on a subject, and my mom said to me, Richard, you have to drop two sports. So I actually dropped hockey because the ball hit me one time, and boy, that was painful. Um, so at the time I went, there were stalwarts there. I mean, when I went into first and second form, I was reminiscing just last Friday with my cousin Martinita, and we were talking about we were lucky because when we went into first and second form, our coach was Freddie Green, right? Honorable Freddie Green. Now, for those who don't know who Freddie Green is, which I think a lot of persons know who he is, Freddie Green is the maker of George Thompson. Freddie Green was the coach of the 1949 Kingston College Manning Cup team. And at that time, George Thompson was playing for Kingston College itself. Um, then we had persons like Howard Aries. We had persons like Audie Hewitt. We had
Coach.
persons like yeah, Fudge, right. We had person like Jimmy Richards who was doing cricket with us. We had person like my sports master at the time was Mr. Johnson, who ended up being our headmaster for many years, Mr. John.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're handed over to George Thompson itself. So I was handed over in 73, 74, 75, 76. We were handed over to George Thompson from Freddie Green. So there was this huge cohort of old boys that were coming in from the 40s and the 50s header
Mm-hmm.
that was
Mm-hmm.
imparting an
Tuggy
influence.
Burrows being one of them.
Well, exactly. And there was imparted, they were giving us a fossil, a prehistoric image of or a plant and or animal. They were fossiling the culture in us. So when a person said that we drink purple blood, it figuratively, right? It's a figurative statement that is a true statement, because the history that we are taught at Kingston College and experience, not only taught but experience at Kingston College, it's just phenomenal. As we said, we are unapologetically purple, and that's okay. That's okay.
I know that. I know that. I know that for sure. But before we
Mm.
move any further, let us just say hello to some people coming in. Of course, we have Theodore Kernandi. He's saying, hi, everyone. Good night, one and all. Uh, Webster, is it Webster that said, let me see, he said something that caught my attention. Marlon Walker said, big up from Meadowbrook. We have one Olympian, John Mayer. And that I
Yeah.
am aware of. John Mayer, indeed. So Meadowbrook is also one of the many schools that can say they have produced Olympians. And of course, last week, Tuesday and Thursday, we did look at the different schools with Olympians. Of course, Calabar came out on top for the boys and very technical for the girls. Track
by
diamond,
far.
you saw that?
Yeah, I saw it. I actually when I actually looked at it, the
Mhm.
repeat of it on yesterday, Heather, in preparation for you, and I found it very fascinating. Because it very technical, beyond Olympics. If you add the World Championship to it, and I'm about to say that you can check the facts, right?
Mhm,
These are
mhm.
facts, and you call some names, and Vilma Charlton can tell you as well. You know, if you add World Championships and Olympics together, very technical is the own is it has the world record of all institutions around the world. Around the world. Get me say it again. Very
You know your
technical,
stuff. You know
very
your data.
technical, right? Very technical. And they had this from 2011. And
Yeah.
from 2011, it was 53 persons. It's up to 60 odd now, right? Between the boys and the girls. They have them, and I'm talking about high schools, universities, clubs, and so on and so forth. They have the most Olympians and world champion representative coming out of one school institution. So big
And
up
I
to Vera Technical.
Yeah, big up to Very Technical. I totally agree with you
Mm-hmm.
because Richard, let me tell you, I know we're going off topic a little bit, but
Mm-hmm. This is okay.
when I was putting the data together, it's like at one point somebody on the program was saying, no HP, I think you're repeating the names of Very Technical. That's how many it was. And that was
Plenty.
just the Olympians. Now, if
Yeah.
I should throw the world champions and the
Oh
world
Lord.
championship representatives
Yeah.
into that, it would be, and that's just one school, and 90, I can say 90 to 95% of their tally is their women.
Yes. Yes. They're women. They're women. And
Is
it's
their women.
similar with St. Diego too as well in
Yeah.
terms of the
St.
women opposed
Jago,
to the men.
St. Jago
Yeah.
had a balance of male and female, but I'm
Yeah.
sure if we should throw in the world championship representatives, I think their
Mhm.
women would be
Absolutely.
way ahead
Absolutely.
of
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
men.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I'm happy you got a chance to look at the data because
Yes, yes, I found it very interesting because we were doing something like that in 2011. Actually, did it with at the time when the Ben Francis Invitational came out, the principal at the time, Dr. Henrietta Stewart, actually hired my company, Laro Marketing, to actually market it and execute it. And guess what? Singer Jamaica was one of those sponsors as well. At the time. Yeah, yeah, it was a really good time, and
yeah.
then we would have had several of those Olympians come in as honorees. I think the first
Mhm,
year was Dion Hemmings,
mhm,
Makati, and then the following year we had Merlin, right? And Merlin actually came home for that, and the following year was Veronica thereafter, and then Aileen Bailey, and I can go on. And
yes.
I remember, and if she's watching, she will know. I remember at the time the two stars at Ver, and it's good to come off topic. The two stars at Ver,
Yes.
it was Olivia James and Sherika Jackson, and they
Mhm,
were in lower six and upper six at the time. And I used to do all the events, and so when I was emceeing, I used to put them on the agenda to have them
mhm.
do the vote of thanks. So they've been doing the vote of thanks and so on. And it's and Olivia, I think she would have gone on to do represent Jamaica for me for a year or two at the senior level, but she wanted to do track to get an education, a higher
Right.
education.
Mhm.
And
Indeed.
Sharika wanted a track as a career itself. So
Mhm,
this is about there. So even from then, I used to call them next, and they were asking me, why would you call me? I said, well, you guys are the next Olympians, because
mhm.
you come from a school of rich, 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 rich,
Rich
rich,
legacy.
rich legacy in terms of that. And funny enough, I know with Casey, funny enough, and the reason why there's an alignment to Veer as well is so when Kingston College was winning, the 14 or 15 straight and so on, Veer was doing the same thing at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kudos to Veer as well. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Vera is in the house. A matter of fact, we have 1980 and 1984 Olympian in the house. Formerly of Vera, Dorothy Scott, genius, long jumper. I don't know if you know her. She said, "Thank you,
Yeah, I know
sir.
Dorothy. Yeah,
Right. We're very proud of our achievements thanks to our then principal, Mr. Ben Francis. What can we say
yes,
about that gentleman, Mr. Ben Francis? He was really involved. And I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that Mr. Ben Francis was the coach. I did not know he was the principal because of how
yes, principal.
involved he was with the school and sports. I thought that he was the coach. Track
Yes,
Diamond, welcome. Ozzy Dixon, welcome. So we have another St. Jago in the house. Dintil is in the house. Ver is in the house. St. Hughes is also here in the house. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. I heard that St. Hughes is also Kingston College sister, brother and sister school. Is
that's
that
true.
so?
That is
Yeah.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the champs launch was last week Wednesday, and the ISA built out the Stadium East because inside was still being prepared for the messy
Mm-hmm.
match, and the
Mm-hmm.
track was finished and the field was doing. And I want to tell you, the St. Hughes sisters came out. There were two, three rows of St. Hughes athletes and students there, and they were recognized. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's our
Awesome.
sister school. Yeah, no.
Awesome. Richard, I tell people all the time, we might rep different schools when it's championship, but at the end
Mhm.
of the day, it is all about Team Jamaica. When these athletes come together and put on that color, it is all about Team Jamaica. But champs is in the air. I cannot say that, Richard, Kingston
Mhm.
College is going after four straight, 36 overall, right? What
Yes.
is the energy like in the camp based on your knowledge? How is the team doing? It's 100 years, so how is the team gelling?
Well, I want to say, let me tell this take it from this point. It's awesome and phenomenal the way the we are doing. We're actually this Sunday we're actually having our champ service down at school at St. Augustine Church. So the champs church service will be on Sunday. So I want to invite everybody to come to church service. The energy is just awesome. It's awesome for a number of reasons. We don't consider the calendar year itself our year because 24 going into 25, although it's our centenary year, remember it overlaps. So we'd have won champs in 2024 and we'd have won Manning Cup football, we'd have won Oliver Shield, would have won under 14, would have won under 14 rural area coming into 2025. So we would have won several of these major championships coming into 2025, and it has snowballed right in Jamaica. If there is snow in Jamaica, it has snowballed in Jamaica, where the student body at the school, the fans of the school, the are the KC ladies are so excited. I mean, my firm, Laro Marketing, is a resident at the National Stadium. We do the merchandising there, and we have
Mm-hmm.
had
We're going to
6
talk
weeks.
about that.
Yeah, right, we had a couple of weeks, several weeks of preparation leading into next week, and I must say, the amount of persons who would have come and want to get their school gear, not only Casey, but Calabar and JC and
Yes,
Woolmers
sir.
and
We're,
Edwin
we're going
Allen.
to talk about that part. Yes, sir. We're
Right,
going to
right.
talk about
So
merchandising. Yeah.
yeah, so it's getting there. It's just overwhelming. I mean, as a matter of fact, it has gone straight into our other cohorts of other teams, like our lacrosse team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, our lacrosse team would have just won their semifinal against Wolmers on Saturday as well, and our lacrosse team is it's just challenging himself to win the championship in the 100th year as well.
Wow.
And same thing goes for our table tennis team. So there's this huge buzz. Now, and I tell you this, and there are others, and rightfully so. Our our competitors, let's say that, not our rivals, our competitors, they have a job, and their job is to knock us off, right?
Yes,
That's their job.
indeed.
And
Mhm.
rightfully, their job is to knock off us. And I think that they are getting a little spirited because they want to knock us off in the 100th year to spoil it. But we
Mhm.
welcome that. We welcome that, Heather. We welcome it. As a matter of fact, we have been talking to our student body, not only our athlete body, but our student body, and we welcome that. It lights a fire. It's like putting fuel or gasoline on a fire and just make it just explode or even
How
more
important,
with
how
joy.
important is it for Kingston College to win championship this year?
Very, very important. Very, very important. And I tell you why. Let me speak for me, but I want to give you an analogy or whatever it is. We There was another major 100-year history at Champs, right? Which was Champs 100, right?
2010.
In 2010, and we made that slip out of our hands. And kudos to Wilmers. That
No,
Wilmers did
that
something that
championship. That championship was for up the road, man. That championship
yeah,
was for Reddy's Road. Reddy's Road had it to win.
well, we too, we had it to win, and both of us made so much mistake. But they
Yes.
had Wolmer's had a team not more than 30, if that much.
Mhm.
But they
They
were
had the
doing
smallest team.
multi,
Yeah, one of the small.
multiple events. I mean, as a matter of fact, at the Gibson Relays Howard Harris lecture this year, doing Extol was one of the panelists, and he did 5 events, right? And that's why ISA would have put in the rules now that you
Yes.
can do only X amount of events.
Hmm.
Doing and Extol himself is suggesting against that happening again. But they had a star team, not a depth star team. They just had stars, people like Extol and Skeen, and Christoph,
Julian
you know,
Ford.
uh, uh,
Hmm.
Julian Ford,
Hmm.
and Hyde, as a young man itself. And they were doing multiple sports and winning. And we ourselves and Calabar were just making mistakes and dropping batons or
Yes.
anything and slipped through
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
So that was 100 year of champs. This is 100 year of Casey. That's why I'm making that
Wow.
analogy. We
That's a
are not
different
going
thing.
that we are not going to make that happen again. Right? I can tell you that we are not going to make that happen. Um, I
I,
have all
I
confidence.
wish.
I have all confidence in our coaches and
Mhm.
our coach, and I have supreme confidence in our leader and commander, Mr. Dave Murray.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Murray has been a champion at Kingston College. When I say a champion at Kingston
Yes,
College.
I've
You know,
heard about him. I've heard about
yeah, man.
him.
He has put several things in place, right? And he puts teams in place, motivates those teams, and he makes the team lead. He does it not only with the old boys and his coaches, but he also does it with his sixth form cohort, his senior students, right? He
Mm-hmm.
gives the senior students at the school um, the reign to lead, and these are the ones that will be leading the marching band going up to champs. They will be leading the choir. They're the one that's leading a lot of the student body councils and so on.
Man,
We have a
you guys will be going all out. But let me ask you
mm,
something. What do you think the atmosphere will be like in the stadium with past students traveling from all over the world to be in Jamaica, the fans? I mean, it is 100 years. What do you think the energy will be like in the stadium with the Kingston College fans?
let me use a terminology that everybody uses around the world. It's going to be off the chart. When I say off the chart, it's going to be off the chart. What is happening is, as a matter of fact, the diaspora is starting to come. The Kingston College diaspora, right? And when I say Kingston, not just old boys and their wives, old boys and their girlfriend, Kingston College supporters, Kingston College supporters that went to other schools that may not be participating in champs, Kingston College supporters that went to other schools that is representing in champs but want to support Kingston College. They are flying in as of this week
So
and
you're
put things in
saying the
place.
stadium, so you're saying the stadium will be a sea of purple and white.
I'm not saying it's going to be a sea of purple and white. It's going to be a sea of purple and white. And when I say a sea of purple and white, a sea of it's going to be unapologetically purple. All right, let me say it again. It's going to be unapologetically purple.
Wow,
And
you
there are quite a few header that is coming in, and they're not. And what is going to happen, Heather, is it is most of them are coming for the 2 weeks, because the fact of the matter is that we have a week and a half after champs. We have our centennial month, as we spoke about before, right?
mhm, mhm.
And then Grand Slam track is falling on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of April. So you have champs, Grand Slam track, and then our celebration. So they're coming here to stay 2, 3 weeks and so on. Um,
Wow.
they um, I must say this. Donovan White, who is the director of the tourist board, a KC old boy too as well. He spoke at the press conference, and he reported that there are no rooms in Kingston. There are
Wow.
no rooms in Kingston. The rooms in Kingston, all hotels, all bed and breakfasts, and so on, all off mainstream hotel rooms, little hotels or motels around the corner are all booked
So
out.
Richard,
And
so if I decided that I want to come at the last minute, there would be no room in the inn.
boy, you have to call Katie out. or, or
So
Simone or Sharon about
yeah,
it them. You have to call your
yeah,
co-workers, your
I
past workers, yeah. Yeah.
totally agree. Would have to call Katie and indeed.
and
Wow, that's
and this is
awesome though.
this is coming from the Ministry of Tourism. It's Zami, and he reported that at Champs press conference last week Wednesday. Yeah,
That's
so we're
awesome.
excited. We're excited. We're excited. Very excited.
That's awesome. Kingston College is the only boys' school, a matter of fact, the only champ school to break the 30 titles barrier. What is the secret at North Street? I know you can't give away all the secret, but what is it about North Street that North Street is like a good way ahead in the 30s?
Yeah. Or put it.
You're moving to 40s without
Mhm.
even other schools into the 30s as yet. What's the secret?
Well, I again, I have some tidbits. I don't know. I'm not going to give it out. But
Don't
I'll
give it
tell you
away, darling.
the formula that the top four school uses. All right, and everybody knows the formula is teamwork.
Yeah.
And when you say teamwork, it is that it comes back our motto now. Here it comes. The teamwork is that you know it is very hardly for a person to go or school to go through the entire championships and there's not a mishap. Whether it is the kind of the sign of the cross, whether it's an injury, whether it's a drop baton,
Mm-hmm.
or whether it's some other illness. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
with athletes. And I pray to God, I pray to my Lord that none of this happens to any of the schools. Right? Because
Yes, indeed.
I like when it is left on the track. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't like when I drop a baton or Calabar drop a baton or JC or Woolmers or
Mm-hmm.
Excelsior. Hi, David Riley. I
Mm-hmm.
saw him today. Drop a
What's up,
baton. I
David?
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I like if you leave it on the track. But the key is teamwork, and the key is to get two persons from every event to the finals. Two persons from every event to the finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We sometimes we get exuberance because champs is the most it goes pimples. Champs is an electrifying roller coaster,
Yeah.
right? Heather, it's an electrifying roller coaster, and what it does, it will do, it gives every individual up and down in terms of emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people
Mm-hmm.
buy into things emotionally, just like the byproduct, and defend it logically. So
Mm-hmm.
when a team goes out and a person comes and he wins the 100 meters, we want to win and gets 9 points. But they have one person in that race. The
Yeah.
other school, like KC and or Calabar JC, has two persons in there. It comes second and third. If you add up the second and third, right? And that's the
Yeah,
last race,
7, 6, 13.
right? Not 9. So
Not
while
9.
you win 9, right? So the key now is to get
Get
both
2.
individuals in the finals, both on the track and in the field as well. So that
Totally,
that is
totally agree.
that's the key. That's the key to winning champs. And injury
Indeed.
free management, right?
Yes.
Management. You know, the other major one is the management of your team during the championships. During the championships, because sometimes you can have poor management, and when you have the poor management, the persons get hurt, dropped on batons are dropped, and you start to lose points as well.
Yeah, they're not properly hydrated.
Not properly hydrated, so on and so forth. Don't
Yeah.
have the proper don't have the proper nutrition. You
Hmm.
before, during, right, and during the breaks, right, when you leave from day 1 to day 2 to day 3 and so on. Those things are very important for you to have your nutritionist, your hygienist as well, right. I
Yes.
remember I
Yes.
had a conversation with our great Donald Corey some years ago, regarding hygiene. People would say to, what does hygiene have to do with a championship in the race? It comes to psychology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me of a story when he was running against Ainsley Crawford, from Trinidad, and
Trinidad.
the great Russian, right? Trinidad, the great Russian, and he was running a race, and there was this athlete from Ukraine, there was this athlete from Russia himself, Ainsley Crawford from Trinidad, and this other person from Barbados. I can't remember his name. And the Russian, I guess is the thing. It's been going on a long time. He was selected. His lane was right next to the Ukraine, and he had a hygiene problem, and he came to the start and went, and he threw off the Ukrainian like you would not believe. So I am saying the psychology of proper nutrition and proper
Hmm.
hygiene when you're
Yes.
going into a race is going to be very important, because your competitor is going to use any advantage they have psychologically to get you off your game, for you to pick start, for you to do anything like that. Yes.
Indeed, indeed. And before we go any further, let us just
Mm.
say welcome, welcome if you're just joining us. Tonight is all about North Street, the purple and white, Kingston College, KC, Fortis, any terminology you want to use. It is all about Kingston College tonight. Of course, Champs is in the air. Champs will be starting next week, Tuesday. Believe it or not, guys. Championship start next week, Tuesday. So if you're just joining us tonight, I'm just hanging out with my good friend Richard
Mm.
Bowen, Mr. Fortis, of course, Laribo
Mm.
Marketing, and I met Richard, many years ago. His place was one of those places that I could go when I go to the stadium and go and hang out and get my special drink, and I'm feted nicely and stuff. So it's good to have him here tonight as we talk. Hello, Lily Hodges is also in the building. St. Mary High School. Richard, I know
Oh
you're too young. You're too young to know the name Lily Hodges, but
no,
Lily
man! I know the lead very well. You're talking about
Hodges.
it.
Well, Lilith is in the building tonight. My auntie Lilith
Mhm.
Hodges, a big supporter of what I am doing also. St. Mary High School star girl herself, and the great Jackie Pusey and Doreen Small, and the list continues. The
And her
list
sister
continues.
Judith Pusey,
And there you go. There you go. So St. Mary High
Justice
is
Pusey
in.
now, right?
Yes, is in the building. But let me ask you something, Richard. A lot of people think that KC is think highly of themselves. This confident air about the Fortis men, and it doesn't matter where you meet them. I used to work with some, and there's
Mhm.
let me tell you, of all the men I know in my life, there's none as confident as a Fortis man. Is that something that you guys are taught in school? Is it taught to the boys as they as they get older, as they move through classes? Tell me a little bit about that Fortis confidence.
All right. It is that fortress confidence and belief, of being confident is something that is taught in the school, something that, as I used the word before, that is fossiled in the school. But I say this though, because what we have accomplished only in 100 years, because personally, I come right back to your question, but let me give you the monologue to it. Persons are saying to me, wait, Casey's only 100 years old and accomplished so much in that 100 years? Yes, we are. So, yes, what has happened is that, we have a strong, rich tradition of, and I want to be very careful what I say, because I
I
can't
know.
speak for anybody else's wife or spouse or so on. But we have a strong, strong, strong tradition of our sons going to Kingston College. We
I
do not
know.
send our we do not send our sons with the, what they call it, the fad, the thing of the suppose of the day of a prep school or a primary school. You know, so we're not going to send our sons, to X, Y, or Z up the road, right? They will come to Kingston College. We're a type of person, even, and everything cannot run. When you run a 400 meters, you can't run a 400 meters like you run a 100 meters, right? So you have to run it in different stages. Now, that's the way schools are. Sometimes most of the times we are okay, but sometimes a school may go through a rough patch.
Mm-hmm.
that rough patch, that rough patch, okay, if you then leave your school as an alumni, and I want to say this to everyone, male and female, if you leave your school when your school is going through a rough patch, that rough patch will become rougher and rougher and rougher and rougher. We do not do that. We do not say, okay, well, Casey is going through a rough patch here for a 2 or 3 year period, right, or a 4 year period, and we abandoned our school. Let me use it. We don't do that. Okay. As a matter of fact, we then get more vigilant to send our sons and our nephews and our grandchildren to Kingston College. As a matter of fact, I can now publicly say that my grandson, right, is going to be coming back to Jamaica in 2 years and going to prep school here for 1 year and then going into Kingston College, right?
Wow.
And he will be fourth generation. One of my grandsons, let me say that because I have a few grandsons, right? One of my grandsons, the younger one. So um, it is taught in the school. It's taught in the school for you to be very confident. It's
Mm-hmm.
taught in the school how to monitor that confidence. It's taught in the school how to identify. Let me say it again. The difference between confidence and arrogance.
And
Now,
arrogant.
our
Yeah.
competitors or persons would want to jump on what I just said because it's easily misconstrued our confidence to be bossy, to be arrogant, to be cynical. We are not cynical. We're not bossy. We're not arrogant. We are just confident persons in life. We believe in actually being our brother's keeper. I wanted to actually read something to you. Uh, if I can pull it up very, very shortly. Yes.
Sure.
Uh, for instance, we look at the word fear. FEAR. What we're taught. Fear has two meanings. Fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run. Forget everything and run. Fear. FEAR. Forget everything and run. Or face everything and rise. So fear has two meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. So what we teach our student cohort and our teachers and our spouses and wives and our well-wishers is to get up and rise. The brave may fall but never yield. But we are taught it's like the phoenix. If you are born in the ashes, you're going to get up and you're going to rise. So we teach that, we ingrain that, we believe that. So it's not a thought. Now people say opinions, but opinion is a because it's not facts. When you believe something, it becomes a fact. Right? So we believe in ourselves, we believe in success, we believe in our brother's keeper, we believe in not leaving persons behind. Yes? I remember my wife, you know my wife before she died, passed away, right?
Mhm.
She went
Mhm.
to other kids, used to tease her. She went to Knox College. In 19, I'll give you a quick story on the Kingston College part, right? In 1990, working with 96, I was back in New York because we got married again in
Richard,
1990,
I
1995
think
back in New
you're
York.
breaking your audio is a little distorted. I think it's your internet.
No,
Yeah.
all on.
Okay, okay.
Let me do it. Is that better?
Okay. All right, guys. He's having
Yeah,
some
right,
technical
right.
difficulties, so we're just getting him to sort out a little bit. But of course, tonight
Mm,
is about Kingston College. It's about CHAMPS. It's about Jamaica's legacy, the school's legacy, Kingston College legacy. So tonight it's all about Kingston College. Thank you all for being here so far and to be, just getting a little bit about behind the scene with Kingston College, what they're about, what their motto is about, their confidence. There's this confidence that they have. Once you're a Fortis, it seems as if, a Fortis is always a Fortis. And of course, that level of confidence that they have is from the baby all the way up. And let's see how Richard is doing now. Are we good now, Richard? Dorothy
yeah,
Scott is
we're fine.
working here. Okay, okay, go again. Let's continue.
Yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
so the story I was giving you that
Yes.
my deceased wife went to Knox College, and I remember her father in 1996 had bone cancer, and she had to drive from Ligony all the way to Spalding every weekend, and she was coming back one weekend, and if you're familiar with Osborne Store was a flood area, and while she was coming back, she hit two potholes and had a flat, both her left front and her rear front. And Heather, within 2 minutes, she had on the Fortes sticker. She had the KC bumper sticker on the car, and she also had the Fortes license plates on the car. And within 3 to 5 minutes, two cars stopped and approached her and said, "Ma'am, we're from KC. Are you having some trouble?" And she said, "Yes, I think I have a flat tire." They not only stayed with her, but took the tires to the gas station down the road, but escorted her all the way from Osborne Store to Ligony. And that's the strength of Kingston College, right?
That's
We're not
awesome.
going to see a, a, a person in distress, a damsel in distress, another Fortis person in distress, and leave it like that. So that's what we started in school, and that is our culture, right? Our culture here, our culture abroad, anywhere that we go, that's our culture. So the answer is yes, it's taught in school.
Yeah, I think Kingston College, this level of confidence, I think it is misunderstood because people don't understand it. So, Fortis many times, you can say that they're misunderstood because they have this air about them, but nothing is wrong with it. Nothing is wrong with teaching our young men to be confident and to be helpful and to be loyal. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But let us just talk about
Mhm.
this sea of purple on a Friday from North Street to the
Mhm.
National Stadium for Champs. The students are in their purple, cars are in purple, dogs are in purple, everybody in purple, and that march from North Street come all the way up to is that Sabina Park, all the way up to Arthur Wayne
Yes,
to the National
yes,
Stadium.
yes.
Tell me a
Up,
little
up,
bit
up.
about
Yes,
when
it
was the
go.
first time?
it it it's a fabulous it's a fabulous gathering. As a matter of fact,
It is.
for plug, my office is now at Sabina Park. It's at the George Hedley stand. They actually Heather, they gather. Sorry, they gather and at school, and they have a holding area in front of the George Hedley stands, and then they will walk George's stance and come up. And then the other schools would join. So St. George's will join them, Alpha will join them,
Yeah,
right?
Alpha,
All the
right?
children, yeah, all the children will join it, and they will march, and they will go up and then come through Deanery Road. And from Deanery Road, they'll come up straight up at Mountain View. If they choose to take that route. The another route that they take also is the Arthur Wint route, as you
Mhm,
mentioned as well,
mhm.
and come in. And it's a fabulous affair.
It is.
Persons, it is so uh, domineering and good that motorists, most oftentimes, join that march, that Friday march coming into
Mhm,
the stadium. And
yeah.
it's not only us, because what is so great is that when you have all the schools are marching, because you have the other schools marching. You have from all the way up from, you have Immaculate marching down, you have the
Mm.
Queens girls marching, you have the
Yeah,
St. Andrew
Kabar. Mm.
girls marching, right? The Calabar fellows marching, and they all have this funnel, and they merge upon the national stadium and come through. Well, KC goes through gate 10 at the
Mhm.
bleachers, and the others
Where's
come through gate one
yeah.
and filter in and
Mhm.
filter into the bleachers. So the march is a huge part of championships. I think that ISO and the title sponsors through the years. Before it was VMBS, and now it's Grace, and
Mhm.
Great, and their the subsidiaries. They have enjoyed that type of like extravaganza, as I would want to call it. And it is part of champs and championships.
Mhm.
Champs is a passion statement.
Yes.
It is I did a couple of interviews last year at my booth, and persons were asking me about championships. And I'll use your platform to say this again without apology. Um, Champs, and people like to put the high school thing behind it. I'm not going to put the high school thing behind it. Champs, pound for pound, Heather. Champs, pound for pound, is the third largest track and field event in the world. Let me say that again. Champs, pound for pound, is the third largest track and field event in the world. We like to put it as high school. Okay, who wants to do that? But it is the third largest track and field event extravaganza in the world, next to the Olympics and the World Championships. Right? That's what Champs is.
Yes. I want to agree with you. Champs is one of those events that people will travel from anywhere in the world to come and be a part of. And you are right. The Olympics is the other one, and of course, the World Championship. I
Hmm.
totally agree with you. But I've seen teams fans fade away when their team not performing, when they're not performing up to
Yes.
par, when they're not doing well. But not Kingston College. Kingston College doesn't lose their
No.
fans because they're not doing well. What is so special about KCY? People are so loyal to this team, this institution, sports teams. KC doesn't lose their fans. It doesn't matter how badly they're beaten, what happened. You can always see their fans in the two side of the bleachers, to the left and to the right. How is
All
it
right.
that you guys are able to keep your fans even if you're not having a good day?
All right. What we as again, it's part of our motto. Fortis said, "Protect the brave may fall, but never yield." It comes right back down to that head is that sometimes when we are not doing so great, we're not gonna leave our team behind. Sorry. We're not going to leave our team behind. We're not going to leave our teammate behind. We're not going to leave our athlete or student athlete behind. Because here's the thing. Okay, Kingston College, Jamaica College, Calabar, Woolman. Let me just use those four for now. Okay, I want to use those four. And excuse me if I don't mention your other schools, but let me just mention Kingston College, Jamaica College, Calabar, and Woolman. Those four institutions, among many other institutions in Jamaica, is very difficult, difficult
Y- y- y-
institution to manage.
Your internet is struggling again a little bit, Richard. You're kind of breaking up. I think
All
it's
right,
your,
okay, all right. I
yeah,
think,
or maybe a
all right.
call trying.
Remember my earpiece. All right.
Okay.
No, no, it's probably my earpiece. Let me go through. Let me go through. What I'm saying is that
hmm
you
Yeah,
know
go ahead
when
now.
you have when you have institutions like Kingston College, Jamaica College, Calabar High School, and Woolmer's boys and or girls school, those are very difficult schools to manage. They're in a professional setting. They're like the New York Yankees. They're like the Boston Celtics. They're like the LA Lakers. They're like the Golden State Warriors. If you want to put it on sports analogy, they're not easy teams to manage, right? And when you have a big institution like those institutions, along with others, it is you have to put things in place for eventualities. You have to put things in place for psychological upliftment because you have to put things in place for personality challenges as well. So it's not all cut and dry that persons will see the end result, right? We work very, very, very hard behind the scenes. I'd like to mention a couple of names as well. Person like Everton Gardner, Bonnie Gardner, Donovan Germain, Derek Banks. They are and that cohort of um, sports management team down at Kingston College who has their own companies as well. They have done extremely well over the years in managing these teams, and not only managing the expectations. Now, you would witness it where persons get it wrong sometimes, Heather. You know, you will go to a race, champs, and you see the winners gone, and you see Calabar and Casey coming seventh and eighth. Where's the noise making from? Persons are cheering on the seventh and eighth persons, the Calabar and Casey people,
hmm
right? Now,
Yeah.
now Jamaica, right? Excelsior's won the race already, or somebody. I remember when Campbell, our long distance runner at the time was running. I was winning everything every year, and he win by three, four, five laps. And a Casey and Calabar guy in the finals coming eighth and ninth, and the crowd, the entire national stadium, is cheering on for the Casey and the Calabar persons.
You're
This
right.
is the type of excitement. This is the
hmm
type of excitement that Kingston College and and Calabar brings.
Yeah.
Again, you know, we because of our motto, we make people happy when we win, and we make people happy when we lose. Right? That's how
Indeed.
great the institution is. Yes.
Indeed,
Mhm.
I've seen other schools, their fan base. I mean, there's no doubt that Kingston College has the biggest sports fan base. I think the only other fan base that is bigger than Kingston College fan base is when our athletes are at the Olympic Games and all Jamaicans come together to cheer. But
Correct.
when you look at Kingston College fan base for sports, it is ridiculous, the size, the
It's tremendous.
numbers. Yeah, it is. It is indeed. And as I said before, you guys don't lose. Your fans don't walk away. Win, lose, or draw. Your fans are there. But someone in the comment section, Marlon Walker, is saying Cavalier did need some of KC fans on Thursday night in the stadium. I don't even want to touch that. I don't even want to talk about that because I am one of those
No, I
people
don't
that
know.
I was
I
hurt
think
when
Cavalier did very well.
Yeah, but I was
I
hurt
think now
that
I
we weren't cheering enough for Cavalier as a country. And that's how I feel about it. And I don't want anybody to come
well
at me
that
to say that, but there's no
it,
way
it,
I
it is
could
true.
cheer. There's no way, Richard, I could cheer for another team when they're playing my team
Mm,
at home. It doesn't matter how much, because I can tell you, if Mbappe goes to Brazil with a team to play, Brazilians not cheering for Mbappe, even if they like him. They
yeah,
are
yeah,
not going
yeah.
to cheer for Brazilians are going to cheer, even if it's the worst team in Brazil. The Brazilians are coming out to cheer for their people. So I felt a way, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw what was happening. I really feel a way that we did not cheer for Cavalier enough. We should have been cheering for them, because here we are play. Yeah, everybody know who Messi is, and we can give him some love when he was coming into the stadium. But in terms of cheering for a team, it would have to be Cavalier. And I'm a Waterhouse fan, so that's just my
Mm,
little
mm.
take on it. But Marlon
Yeah,
brought it up,
yeah,
so
no, it's a good program. I mean, I was there. I was on the front line, doing my thing in on the concession for the merchandising,
hmm
and I must say, we were inundated with requests for messy shirts and so on, and we did some. I say this to you though, we have a culture. In my training sessions, that's I do, and my good friend, you remember David Crawford at Fidelity Movers? I used
hmm
to say to the, I did a training, yeah, right. I did a training session once, and I use terminologies that we sometimes have here in Jamaica, and I am not saying it in a negative way, you know, but we use the word yeah but, yeah, the yeah but syndrome, the yeah
hmm
but, yeah but we cheer for Messi because it's better, yeah but, yeah but, yeah but, yeah but, I am not going to say yeah but, I'm going to say however. Um, However, I understand that Jamaica is split down the middle between, when it comes to world football, between Argentina and Brazil, and you have a few persons that are France and a few persons that are England, few persons
right.
Germany and Spain and so on, right? Jamaica is split down the middle again. Well, not the middle of who is the greatest football ever, whether it's Pele, Maradona, or Messi, right?
True,
It's Pele,
true.
but that's my belief, not my opinion, right? And the fact of the matter is that no, Messi is the greatest footballer living that is alive. Yes. However, right? What I want everyone to use in your platform, my dear Heather, is to know is that we need to put Cavalier where they belong, because the fact of the matter is that Rudolph Speed and his team, Cavalier, reached the quarterfinal stage long before Inter Miami reached theirs. So Cavaliers reached their level of waiting to see who they're going to play, whether it's Inter Miami or Kansas City. So
hmm
Kansas City and Inter Miami had to play a round robin with each other to see who gets the privilege to play Cavalier. It
Play
was no
Cavalier.
other way around. So although Cavalier has lost to Inter Miami, Cavalier reached the position of the quarterfinal, that position in playing there long before Miami did. So
hmm
kudos to Cavaliers and so on. And I want to
Indeed.
congratulate them on a job well done. Because
Indeed.
I haven't seen so many people. The only time that I see so much people in the stadium is during champs,
Yeah.
right?
True,
And
true.
you know, for Cavalier to put themselves in a position to bless Jamaica in getting Messi here, because the fact of the matter is they're in that position. Messi would have to have played on his team would have to have played Kansas City twice. I think they beat them 3-1 or 4-1 in the aggregate to earn the right to play Cavalier. So
And
we need to lift up Cavalier to where they are. Cavalier is our defending champion. Cavalier is the CONCACAF champion as well. In when it comes to that particular club football, and would have gone to the Championship Cup now, playing against
Right.
Miami
Yeah,
and
man, we
those
have
others. So
to.
they've done
We have.
extremely well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Big up to them. Big up to them. I
yeah.
hope they're, they're doing well and gain some fans and stuff. But going back to North Street, thank you very much for that one, Marlon
Yep.
Walker. So I could say my two piece on air. Richard, why is it so important for Kingston College past students to give back? They seem to give back with ease. It seems as if it is effortless for the alumni of Kingston College to give back to the institution without even thinking it's a problem.
It's part of our DNA. I would have mentioned when you asked the question of my time in school, right? And the names that I would have mentioned, those stalwarts that I would have mentioned, they were, they gave back of their time. They gave back and those days, the cars weren't as frequent as it is today in Jamaica.
Mhm.
By 8 o'clock, there's a million cars on the road, right? So, our essence of giving back of in terms of time, in terms of service, in terms of contribution, in terms of sponsorship, in terms of mentorship, you know, it is part and part of our DNA. Now, we let me we don't leave, we graduate, but we don't leave.
Mhm.
So that is what's in our DNA. We graduate from Kingston College, but we don't leave. Let me
I
say it
see that.
again. We graduate, but we don't leave. And
That's a
then
powerful statement. That's a very
yeah,
powerful statement.
very far. We graduate, but we don't leave. I mean, there's a gentleman, one of my mentors. I mentioned his name before, and if he's watching, his name is Audley Hewitt. All right, Audley Hewitt was one of the first presidents of the South Florida chapter, and Audley is a staunch worker at his age. I mean, I won't mention his age on air here, but and everybody knows him, and he's a mover and shaker, right? He's a mover and shaker, and he's a gentleman that he gave to me because my spring when I was in third form, I didn't spring up in them. I went first and second form. I was very small, right? And my growth spurt, as they call it, my growth
Mhm.
spurt didn't hit until I was well into my first semester in third form. And guess what was my and my event of choice was hurdles. Tried everything, right? But it was hurdles. So the truth is, you have to be very, very fast and or tall to go 1, 2, 3 in the middle of hurdles. I was having serious trouble with it, and both Audrey Hewitt and Howard Ayers got to me and really worked on my technique, and I believed, and I've never forgotten it, right? And I have been I'm 65 now, right? And I left school at 16 because I went in early, right? And then when I left, left and I went to university abroad because my oldest brother passed away in a car accident. He was a priest, and so things had changed. I didn't go
Mhm.
to UA here. I actually went to university abroad. That was a trying time, but again, Casey was around me, and they gave back.
Yeah.
I give you one even more important about giving back. They give back not only to the school, but to you when you're living your life, while you're in the now of the now. When my wife passed away in 2018, she had a heart attack. Yes? And the first persons that was in Pembroke Pines, and I was at the hospital all night, didn't get in till 3 o'clock the next morning, got home, right? I had to deal with my son and so on. And by 7 o'clock that morning, Heather, all the Hewitt, Winston Hewitt, and their wives were at my house, right? The next morning, right? Nigel Pagan and Barry Sewell, or KC Old Boys, were at my were there with me as well, right? The following day, my cousin Martinita flew up and his wife Yvonne flew up and was there. All around the Kingston College, giving back and supporting during sadness, during happiness, during trying times. And that's what KC is all about. And we exemplify that in everything that we do. We exemplify that in everything that we do. Person say to me, "Well, Richard, you don't wear another color." I hardly wear. I listen. I have. Let me be. If you allow me to be less than humble, I'm a clothes freak. I have quite a bit of things, right? But guess what? If I am out of my purple, you used to say to me to your head up, if I used to come to your office and I don't want a purple tie or something like that, they ask me, "Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling well?" I mean, it is it's just the way that we are comfortable. It is a color, it is a
Mm-hmm.
culture that helps people to talk. It breaks the ice. When you walk on the road and a person say, "Hey, Fortis," and they have nothing to do with Fortis, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it gives a conversation piece, and that's what the color, the school, the culture that was instituted by Bishop Gibson, nurtured by Douglas Forrest and Don Taylor, and all the principals coming forward, and I would have maintained. I must say that maintained in the school. So even if there's up and down patches, right, the core belief and the core aspect never
Valid.
leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
indeed, indeed. The brave may fall, but
But never
never
yield.
yield. Oh wow, awesome. That is just that is powerful. Some powerful words. But before we get to Lariba marketing, there are many
Yes.
schools out there that are struggling. Schools are struggling. Schools that used to be on top, they're now struggling because of the support. A lot of schools need financial support. Um, what would you say to them, Richard? How would you help them to call out their alumni, their community, the parents, the grandparents? Kind of seem like the setup that is at Kingston College. How do you call out these people to support the school they went to, their children's school? Because so many schools are,
Mm.
they're struggling. And I looked at a budget to run a program for one season, and I got dizzy when I saw the
Yeah.
dollar figures, when I saw the zeros.
Now you're saying what I was saying earlier. It is especially those four schools that I mentioned, and it's not limited to them, right? It goes far and wide because the schools that are in the rural areas have it even worse because
Yes.
they have to come in for track meets, right? Mostly into Kingston. Now, when there are multiple track meets on the J2A calendar, they have a choice of whether they can stay in the rural area and run, or they come to Kingston. But most want to come to most of the development meets in Kingston, and that takes cash to care. Yes,
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm,
they have to come with a bus, or they have to hire a bus, they have to charter a bus, lunch, right? And you know that when you have a track meet, it starts at 8 o'clock, right? And it finishes. It usually
all day.
finishes between 6:30 7 all day.
Mm-hmm,
Sometimes it'll go straight down to 7 8 o'clock. When you
mm-hmm.
come to a World Athletics Tier 2 meet, like the Gibson Relays, yes, kudos to the Gibson people. It's now a Tier 2, identified by the World Athletics. Yes, that's an all day meet. So you come in, and it starts at 9 o'clock, and the last race goes off at 9 o'clock, right? And then you have to. Um, Feed and nutrition and so on and so on. So it's
And
very,
these
very
are
expensive. So here's
teenagers.
what I would say.
These are teenagers.
Here's
They
what I
eat right throughout the
Yes,
day. They eat a lot.
correct, correct. I need it because they're competing. Here's what I
Mm-hmm.
would say. I've been asked that question multiple time over the years. Yes, how does Casey do it? How does Casey do it? How does Casey? It's difficult. It's difficult. It's easy to share, but difficult to understand. Yes, it is a little, it's hard for us, but easier for us because of our culture, our 100 years of culture that is ingrained, fossiled, and built inside of us. Yes. I recently, last year, was working with the Meadowbrook folks. Hi, Meadowbrook people again. Um, Meadowbrook had their homecoming at the Excelsior Hotel, which is the former Morgan's Harbor, and I was helping one of the organizers to help them with fundraising. So I partnered with Alliance and we were doing custom phone cases. Yes, so things like that. So here's what I would say to all the schools that are listening in terms of fundraisers. You know, and try again, right? It takes a village. It doesn't take one person or two person or three persons. The schools that are more mature, let me say that when I say mature, meaning schools that are aged, the Jamaica colleges, the St. Jago's. People don't know St. Jago is the third oldest school in the Caribbean, right? St. Jago was I think it's Smiths and Brown or Smiths and Browning as before, and St. Jago is 200 odd years old as well, right? St. George's College, right? So you have schools that have tenure that has what you would call in the Jamaican saying old money. But I would say to all the schools, one step at a time. Use your village. It is, don't depend. All right, let me use Ambassador Bolt for a moment, right? All right, William Nib is could be the exception, but not because Usain Bolt went to William Nib and Usain Bolt Dr. Honorable Usain Bolt is now a billionaire in Jamaican sense and a multimillionaire. Hi, Usain, how are you doing? Right? Here itself. It doesn't take Usain alone. Usain alone cannot make William Nib have that stick to it in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years. It's going to take a person like Richard Bowen, a person like Heather, all right? Your classmate, giving a mickle or a muckle, whether it's service, whether it is time, whether it is corporate. And they also have to understand and get the belief because there is this, and you're in that position too. I'm about to say something. There is this misconception of schools and institutions, which goes to churches as well, that um, you need to get corporate sponsor. I mean, it's not that easy, right? Gone are the days. Let me say this. Gone are the days where a school and or church can come to corporate and say help without you yourself having expectation to yourself for those schools or church to say what is in it for me. So when you're doing a proposal, you must do a proposal with a certain amount of tangible benefits, not just feather banners and banner this and banner that and banner that, and brand awareness. Brand awareness is very important, but what else? What else that can the school do for? And can I use your old company for a moment?
Sure.
All right. So when I used to write my proposal to Singer, I used to write my proposal to Singer, but at the same time, I used to say to Singer, I'll give because Chatham Palmer was my president when I was the director of marketing in the Old Boys Associates in Jamaica in 2000 to 2006 under Chatham Palmer, right? We did some wonderful things. We did some wonderful things with Alison Dexter at Caramet. We did some wonderful things with you over at Singer, with Sharon Spence and yourself and Simone. We did some wonderful things, right? We did when I was with JT, we did some wonderful things with Singer. All right. How can we use our product to enhance your product? How can you use your alumni to enhance Singer? Not just ask Singer for $1 million and the outfit. Remember, you used to outfit all the hospitality rooms and the this and the
Yes.
that and so on, right? But how can you now engage your school alumni, your students? How can you engage your teachers to go and purchase at Singer? Or can you now engage your alumni cohort, your past year. I want to say I don't want to get separate and say old girls. You know such thing as old girls. Your past students or your alumni when it comes to the ladies, right? You have to engage your data list and say, okay, fine, singer, here's my data list. And now they have what you give them a prospect lead, a prospect list. And now singer can call into the prospect list, right? They can now definitely put on special uh, 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 sales or special discounts specifically for Casey, specifically for St. Andrew, specifically for Calabar, specifically for Stets or whoever it is. And that's the type of mind expansion that you have to use. You can't do a proposal and go into the proposal just asking, 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 and not putting back tangible benefits into the
Yeah.
benefits entitlement for them to gain back. And that's how it's done.
I totally agree with you. Sounds good.
Mhm.
Sponsor, there's so many things that sponsors can do with their money. They're not
Mhm.
obligated to give it to you. So if they're going to give it to you, then you have to be giving back something. And
Correct.
thank you very much for that because we have so many schools that are struggling to as it relates to fundraising and to be able to sustain their program because that's one of the things that Kingston College is good at. It doesn't matter who goes there as a coach, it doesn't matter who goes there as a principal. The tradition and the legacy and the culture of the institution is maintained because I've seen where coaches leave a high school, the school is on top, and the coach
Yep.
leaves and the program goes down. Was that a
Correct.
school culture or was it the coach's culture or was it the principal culture? So, you guys really, I have to say, really, really have a good thing going on at North Street in terms of sustainability, sustaining your standard, sustaining everything. So thank you very much for that. Tony P, welcome. Richard, let us talk about La
Rebo.
Laribo marketing, right?
Yeah.
Laribo marketing. That's
Yes.
your baby. How
Yes, it
did
is.
Laribo came about? What was the vision? What was the vision that you had?
Okay, Laribo came about when my story is that I came back to Jamaica twice, because I again when I met my wonderful wife, this is Lanzo, I had to go back to the United States to file for her, and at that time you couldn't be out of the country and file. You have to be working in the countries. I had to have gone back um, to New York, which I felt like I was regressing because I can't deal with the cold anymore. The shoveling of the snow and the tipping of the ice and the layers of clothes. That wasn't me. Yes. But then when I came back again, when we settled, we actually from New York, we settled in Florida, in Pembroke Pines. I'm now in Orlando, still Orlando and Jamaica. And my wife was an attorney at law. And then my son, Richard Francis, he was still at St. Andre Prep, and he was about to take was GSAT? It was called GSAT at the time. Yes. And he called me on the phone and he was crying it up. We were living at Wellington Glades at the time in Nigani. And it's on the phone and he was going to sports day at St. Andre. I said, Daddy, I don't want to go. So I said, why? He said, I can't win anything. And I said, well, Richard Francis, sports day is not about winning, an individual race. It's about teamwork because the team,
Yes.
your host, you're running for your host, so it's going to win. And I said, furthermore, you have all that common area for you to train. He said, train, Daddy, train. That's your job. Now, this 9.5-year-old about to take GSAT at 10, right? Called me and held me rigidly accountable. I was working with General Motors International at the time. I resigned immediately to come home. General Motors would not accept my resignation. I said, well, you know what? Go down and help your friend Nigel Pagan at GM Challenger. And I came. So I came down back to Jamaica in 2000 with Nigel for a year. Then I matriculated to Dwight Moore. Right? Hi, Dwight. at World Trans for another year. I was his general manager for about a year and a half. And then I had all this training experience in sales and marketing. Because that's what I did. I actually left law school to do sales and marketing. And I said, you know what? Instead of giving it to one company, why don't I sit down and put all the talents and all the products and services that I can offer and offer it to all of Jamaica? I sat with my wife, and being that she was an attorney, she knew how to set up the companies and everything like that. And she came up with the name Laribo, which actually means in Spanish success. So Laribo, my wife's name is Lanza. So you have L-A, Lanza, R-I,
I
Richard,
see.
B-O, Boyd. So that's Laribo. So she was brilliant. She's not attorney, but she was a brilliant marketing mind as well. So she came up with the word Lariba marketing. So we came up with Lariba marketing, and we actually entered into the service, the sales and marketing business, specializing in full scope of marketing, corporate marketing, financial marketing, sports marketing, merchandise marketing. And then we excelled in the merchandise marketing area as well. And we again, let's go back to the KC team. We were then approached on the what you call the electronic marketing, and we do because we did the video boards at the stadium, and
Mm-hmm.
we were in 2002 at the World Juniors. We were then approached by the then Howard Harris, because he was uh, the co-chairman of IPL, Independence Park Limited, and then we extend our expertise to Independence Park, which we are still there, both from a merchandising standpoint and from electronic board standpoint. And the rest is history with that. So Lariba also offers and extended itself to merchandise marketing. So we extend ourselves and our products and service to most of the schools, including ISA at the time. At the time when we approached, it was Clement Ratcliffe, who was the president at the time. Branford Gale was the chairman of CHAMPS at that time. When Branford matriculated and left Monroe, Mr. Murray himself became chairman of CHAMPS for 2 years when he was at Woolmer's. And after Mr. Murray, the most effervescent and hard-working Colleen Montague then came in and is now the chairperson for many years before Richard Thompson take over for her. So we would have worked on a lot of programs in terms of merchandising and events planning with ISA as well. And we'd have forged an alliance with most in 2008, 2006, 7, 8, and 9. And then it culminated all in 2010 when we did most of the school in CHAMPS 100 and have subsequently maintained that itself. So we offer our offerings. We do a lot of merchandising, memorabilia for the schools and alumni, not only at CHAMPS and not only in Jamaica, but also in the United States. For instance, when we extend our services and we sign an alliance with a school, we give that alliance, we give that commitment to the chapters abroad. All right. So presently, what we do, we work very closely with the South Florida chapter. All right. We work very closely with the Tampa Orlando chapter. We work fairly closely with the New York chapter because New York chapter is pretty big. The Atlanta chapter as well. And we do the same thing for Calabar and the same thing for JC and most of the other schools as well. And comes back to a point where you say those they all right. Here's the next thing. This is answering two questions in one. The one is asking now, and the previous one. I would want to encourage and implore the alumni associations in Jamaica to work very, 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 very closely with your chapter abroad, right? Because far too often, what I see is that the past students, the Old Boys Association, or the past students association, or the alumni association. I'm using those terminologies because I'm not one to call a lady old girl, right? Old girl. I don't want to chance that, right? They're not old girls. So your past students or alumni. Work with your chapters abroad. Because guess what? The dynamics of how the diaspora sees their chapter abroad is different than how corporate Jamaica sees the local organization here. But the local organization is not called a chapter, right? It's the organization. All
Mm,
organizations outside the country is called a chapter. But
chapter.
guess what? Guess what? We have we have, and I share a secret, right? We have tapped into your brother chapter or your sister chapters abroad and work together because the corporate diaspora in the States wants to work with the Jamaican institutions. Who am I talking about? BMBS. They're there in Florida and New York. Jamaica National, they're there. Digicel, they're there. Grace Kennedy is there. High Hazel and Prince, Western Union is there. So when they're doing events, Caribbean events like the Jerk Festivals and the so on and so forth, right? What Eddie Edwards and those guys, Tyrone Robertson, I Tyrone from Carity, I Marco Brown, right? And those guys, those are great event organizers. Tap into it and get into the chapters here because here's what happened. You have organizations abroad head up would want to sponsor an event that you have in Jamaica. So whether you go to Queens or you go to St. Hughes, right? You're going to have a USA company because he's a bit affiliated or they are affiliated with your school chapter abroad. You can tap into that resources as well, right? So that's how you do it. Mind expansion. You think
Very
outside of the
interesting.
box, right?
You're throwing out some very good information there because maybe a lot of people they're not aware that, and the thing is that funds are there, but it's to access, it's to get
Access.
access to help. Help is there, but it's just to get
Yeah.
access. I've always believed in merchandise. I love merchandise. I'm the type of
Mm-hmm.
person that everywhere I travel to, I want to get a t-shirt. I don't wear t-shirt a lot, but I now find myself collecting t-shirts. So anywhere I go, and any state I go, I will see now I'm in a New Orleans t-shirt because I
See?
went there 2 years ago to the French Quarters.
Yeah,
So
man. I like the
and
color too.
yeah, and there you go. It's the first I am wearing it. I bought this t-shirt 2022 and it's the first I'm wearing it
Yes.
tonight. And I said I need something purple and then I just pulled for this. But I am one of those people, Richard, who struggle to find merchandise. You were the person I used to buy my when
Yes.
it's around
And see, look.
chance time. I used to order my things special from
Yeah.
Richard guys, and I used to get my thing designed a certain way because as a woman,
Yes.
we need to go on a little
Exactly.
sexiness.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
say
Yes.
to Richard from early, I said, Richard, I need a top, and this is how I need it to look. And believe me, Richard would make that
Correct.
happen. But
Yes.
like for us overseas, Richard, if we want to get a top from you now, a kit or a jersey for the school that we're supporting, can we buy it online?
Mm-hmm. All right. Yes, we're paused on that because my son is actually is redesigning the online portal where that is
Oh,
concerned. However, we have a catalog that if I can give a number and or an email,
sure,
they
sure.
can they can access me by that and I can shoot them immediately. So the numbers are in the States is 954 849 2490. That's 954 849 2490. And in Jamaica, it is 876 214 7437. That's 876 214 7437. And it's Lariba Marketing at gmail.com and or Richard Laribo at hotmail.com. Right? And both phones are on WhatsApp as well. And if somebody wants something, they can WhatsApp me right now. So before the email will come off, before the night out, I can send a catalog to them and personalize it itself. Um, We are also, my company, we are also aligning ourselves to an alliance of us. The company is called Jalumni, and that's where we're going to be putting our online there itself. Jalumni is supposed to have been launched a couple of years ago, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of COVID, it kind of got settled down for a bit. But the principals and the alliances, we met only 2 weeks ago, and it's been brushed off. So our partners on that is going to call, and the company is called Jalumni, which is an alliance of Lariba Marketing, and that's where we're going to do the online moving forward. But for now, they can call those numbers and check those emails, and we can shoot things to them. Whether you go KC or Calabar or JC or Woolmans or
No matter
Stets and
where,
so on.
guys.
And
Any school you
yeah,
go, you can get your kit
and it's good.
through.
And it's not and let me share this. It's not just the regular merchandise, because we do, we were other than we were one of the first persons that would have revolutionized the silicone wristbands in Jamaica because it was what's the cyclist name that started with the yellow band, right?
Before you
But
go any further, Daniel is saying he needs a medium calabar shirt. Daniel
I got you,
England.
Daniel. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
he
You
will be
want
in
ask me if you,
Jamaica, so. Mhm.
Yeah, Daniel has my number. So we for Calabar we have jersey types, we have polo shirts, we have
Okay.
crew neck shirts, we have Oxford shirts, we have long sleeve shirts. Yes,
So
and
for
they're all
people in
ready and so on.
Jamaica, where can they find you, Richard? For people in Jamaica who will want their thing at the last minute, where can they find you?
Okay. Th- All right. They can find me in two places, right? Our corporate offices are now at the George Ellis stands at China Park, right? Which is ironically around the corner from JC. I mean, from KC. Oh Lord, could I say that? From KC and St. George's.
I like
So
that. I like
right
that.
across from yeah, right across from Alpha and Holy Trinity. So that's where our office is, Lariba Marketing. Can't miss it because on the outside it's painted in purple and the verticals are purple and white. So you can't miss it unapologetically. Also, that's where the offices is. Most of what we have done now over the last 3 weeks, we have moved 95% of the stock to the National Stadium because we know we have a satellite store at the National Stadium
Mm-hmm.
because every week there is an event there. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
so we have that Gibson Ray, then we would have now have the Cavalier versus Messi match, and then we're moving into champs. All right,
Okay.
so things
Okay.
are laid out there. So they can either reach me on those phones, they can come to Sabina Park, or they can meet me at the National Stadium. I'll be at the National Stadium every single day from today, from earlier today, straight through to CHAMPS 25th to the 29th, that they can get what they want or would like to see as well. The
And your
point that I was
store,
trying to
and
also
your,
make
before you go further, Richard, and your store is set up in the grandstand, right?
in the grandstand, yes, yes,
In
it's
the
the same place there on the concession floor. It's on
Okay.
the
Yeah.
concession floor, and
Okay.
yeah, no, we go beyond apparel, as you know. All right, it's not just apparel. We have the silicone wristbands, we have the school dog tags, we call it metallic tags. We have the water bottles. We have now introduced color-coded handkerchiefs. So if you want your purple handkerchief, because it gets hot in the stadium sometimes, you have the purple ones, we have the green ones, we have the light blue, we have the burgundy, we have the yellows, and so on. Uh, we have many other things. We have caps and hats. We have floppy hats. We have bowl hats. We have caps. We have tams with school names on it. The KC and the Calabar and the Woolmans and the Stets and so on and so forth. Um, we have other things. You come to the stadium and you have your phone. We have power banks. So we have power banks now with school names now. We have generic ones, black
Look at
and red,
you.
and then we now have power banks with green and purple and so on. So if you bring your phone and you can buy a power bank, and you won't be out of charge yourself. So it's
Wow.
it's
I
it's
love
it's
it.
far the merchandising is far and wide. Right, it's far and wide. Yes.
Plus you have bags also, Richard.
Yes, we also have bags.
Mhm.
We have and we do a tremendous amount of Jamaican apparel too, because what has happened is as well, when persons come home, they also want to get their colors, right? So what we do at Champs, we call it cross marketing or cross selling. So it's not only the school apparel that we will have, but we will also have your Jamaican or your Jamaican culture apparel. So what we have done, we have been successful enough and blessed enough and fortunate enough and humble enough to have merged some alliance with a few major institutions. These institutions are the Jamaica Football Federation, the Jamaica Athletics Administration Federation, the Jamaica Olympic Association. We have merged some alliance with the Racers Track Club. So the Racers Grand Prix, we have Racers shirts. That if you want your Racers Grand Prix shirt, we can get you a Racers shirt as well.
I like
So
that.
what we have tried to get we went yes, because I tell you what, again, as I said, if you have something good and you keep it a secret, it stays a secret. We do not want Lariva to stay a secret. So we're asking persons that if you want to have an alliance with us, just call me and we can speak and we can have an alliance together, and do the thing right. One of the issues I'd like to bring up as a public service, not only to Lariva but to ISA and to the schools, and it comes up every year. It comes up every single year, Heather. It's the fact that the I don't want to use that word, but the bootleg of selling of the school apparel outside the side the
Mm-hmm,
stadium itself.
mm-hmm.
Now we have had some challenges with that over the years. Over the last 25 years. Let me just put it like it is. We have had some challenges with, but we have tried to put some things in place inside the stadium for that. We cannot control anything that goes outside of E3, which is National Stadium that happens on Arthur Wink Road. So if you see a person selling a KC tie and a Calabar tie and a this and a that and a so on and
It's
so
not
forth,
your
the
product.
River Marketing and right, Laro Marketing and or Independence Park Limited doesn't have any control, or ISA has any control over that. The control environment is inside the stadium where La Riva is, where we offer our products and services. Now, we also offer our products and services as well because it's not only cash based. We have our PSO machines, right, where you can pay both in Jamaican and or in US, right? Um, uh, all the way up to American Express. So we take all the Mastercards, the Visas, the Dinah Clubs, the Discovery, the Amexes, and so on and so forth. If a person wants to purchase something, I want to Zelle, we have a Zelle account that they can Zelle, or if they want to do a transfer, we have on the spot. We have several accounts here with Scotiabank and or Sagicor, for the buying experience to be good for the
Wow.
part of
Well,
the
well
yes,
structured. Well
yes.
structured. I like that very much. Well,
Mm.
well structured, guys. Richard, it doesn't matter which school you go, I think you can get your kits or your jersey from Laribo Marketing. Richard has everything. Trust me, I know. As I said before, year after year, that's where I used to get my little custom made sexy top
Yes,
for champs, especially for Friday and Saturday. That's
yes,
that's when the
yes,
fashion turn up, guys. The fashion turns up on a Friday
yes.
and a
I
Saturday.
accept it. Correct.
Yes, indeed, indeed. So, Richard, I want you to give them your numbers again, just in case they did not catch it before.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. My two numbers are in Jamaica. It's 876-214-7437. Let me repeat that. 876-214-7437. And in the US number, it's 954-849-2490. That's 954-849-2490. And they both work on WhatsApp as well. Our email is laribomarketing@gmail.com and richardlaribo@hotmail.com as well. Yes, our offices at 39 South Camp Road, at the Georgia Standard Sabina Park and the National Stadium.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I hope you have enough power bank because Daniel England is saying he likes the idea because many times we're in the stadium and of course our phone goes dead because it's so busy. You're watching the races
Yes,
and you're posting and you're talking to people and after a while your battery. So I do like that idea also that I can be there for an entire day and my phone is working, I'm in my right colors, and the vibe is right and everything. But let me ask you, Richard, before we just wrap up. Is it too late for people like me who will be watching it on television overseas? Is it too late for us to order something and get it to us in the US?
no, no, it's not. We do have a certain amount of stock, watch party stock in the States that my son Richard Francis, it is stored in all because we're now in Orlando. We're not in Pembroke Pines anymore, but so we have a certain amount of stock for the champs experience
Mhm.
in the States. Now,
Okay,
it so depending on the school, we have some there that can be sent to you in the States as well, because
okay.
we're pretty much in the know of the know. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
persons are actually ordering. Today, a lot of persons call me and order and say, Richard, put this away, put that away, order. And I pull their orders and I package them. But there are some of those who are coming down, like Jeff Hoyes and Norman Noble and so on, Winston Stewart, Brahma, and all those persons are coming down from Orlando that want to pack their kit for their 5 days. Want their shirt for Tuesday, a different shirt for Wednesday, Thursday.
Wow.
It's a pattern thing. Yeah.
Yes,
So
it's a
it's a
fashion.
5 day affair. Yeah.
Yes,
So it's a
yes.
five different shirt, them 5 different shirts that they want. Yeah.
Wow. I
So
love
we do we have a certain amount of stock in the States that we can service that as well.
it.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you are going to watch champs like yourself at a watch party, or
Mm-hmm.
if you either want it or on TVJ or One Spot Media, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're my partners as well. And at a watch
Right.
party, and you want to come with your colors, I just say rep your colors. You can
Mm-hmm.
also call us, and we can get that to you as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So it doesn't matter where you are, we can get
Correct.
it to you. I love it. I love it, Richard. And let me tell you, you have been doing a great job because you're one of the few people that we can get, fans can get their jersey from. And of course, I'm sure that this week into early next week is going to be crazy for you because women, especially
Yes.
the women, a man will put out basically anything. You just draw on something if it's purple or green, but
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
women, we want
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
V cut, we want it to fit right. We want
That's
that
correct.
kind of thing.
That's
So
correct. Yeah, man. It's a fashion statement. It's not for
yeah,
yes,
it
yes.
is.
You want to look good. Yeah, you want to look
Yeah.
good.
When you
As
put
I said
on the
before,
blue jeans with your jersey, you want it to fit right. And let me tell you, you've been doing a good
right.
job, Richard,
I,
in trying to do this
Thank you
for
very
us
much.
over the years. And it was it was actually very informative to have you here tonight to tell us a little bit about it. But before we go, we're going to play a little game. I want you to tell me something about Kingston College, and I'm going to tell you something about Kingston College. We're going to do that about 5 times. So you start,
Oh Lord.
then I will go. So you're going to tell me something about Kingston College, and then I'm going to tell you something about Kingston College, and we alternate for about 5 times. You go first.
All right. Kingston College is the first school English speaking Caribbean to have entered and be represented at Penn Relays.
Oh my God, I have that on my list, Richard. Richard,
Hush.
I
Never
have that.
mind.
I have that on my list, but that's a good one. That's a good one. I have it on my list too. All right, my thing is Kingston College won their first Boys Champs title 1937.
Correct.
Your
I
your
will come
time.
in. I will come in another Penn Relays. Kingston College is the only school other than University of Pennsylvania, the only school in the world that has its flag hoisted at the pen relays, and that's
Wow,
going on for almost 10 years now. Yes,
I
yes.
didn't know that.
I know a lot of people don't know.
I
Right, there
didn't
was a
know
big
that.
ceremony, and Casey is the only school, right? Definitely from the Caribbean as well, and
Mhm.
also because the only other school that flags are hoisted at Penn Relays is the University of Pennsylvania. This is their home as well. So
Wow.
it's
Wow.
every year since then it is hoisted
Mhm.
at the Penn Stadium. Go ahead.
Wow, that's new knowledge. That's why I like to do this
Mhm,
program. You learn things.
mhm.
Before I go to my next point, let us say welcome to Regina Montague, who was a standout for Titchfield High School. So Titchfield is in the building. Welcome, Regina Montague, a standout girl at Champs, and also Carifta Games champion, and also an outstanding coach at Dintil back in the days herself. Kenneth
Yes.
Gray saying,
Okay.
kudos, Richard. See you at Champs. So Kenneth Gray saying he will see you at Champs. Welcome, Kenneth Gray. Welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. And Steve, my next point, as you pointed out before, was going to be Kingston College is the first Jamaican high school to participated in the Pens Relay. It was actually 1964. So my next
Correct.
point is, it's my turn now, is GC Foster was the coach when Kingston College won their first championship 1937. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Mr. GC
Correct.
Foster. Mr. GC Foster was the coach when Kingston College won their first title 1937. Now it's your time, Richard.
All right. I mentioned this before. Um, Mr. Freddie Green was the coach of Kingston College when Kingston won their first Manning Cup in 1949.
Wow. Wow. Wow, that one is
Mhm.
huge. Now that's
Yeah,
new
yeah,
knowledge
yeah.
also. Okay, my next item about King. You see, I know about Kingston College, you would think that I'm their biggest fan. But Mr. Bishop Percival Gibson was the first headmaster of Kingston College. Am I right
Yes, he,
again?
yeah, yes, he was. Yes, he
All
was. Yes,
right.
he was. Yes, he was.
Your
Yes, he
time
was.
again,
He
sir.
was. He was actually the founding headmaster. That's his title, the founding headmaster as well.
Wow.
Okay, that's great. The speaking about Kingston College, I would say that Kingston College has has actually produced the most principals going into other schools as principals. Most
Wow.
students that become principals of other schools.
Wow.
People like
That's very
Isaac Henry at Stats. It was a principal at Kingston College, um, and also the first principal of a church's teachers college was also a KC Old Boy, which was actually founded by Bishop Gibson as well. Yes,
awesome. More information. I love it. Tonight we're learning about Kingston College celebrating 100 years this year. Of course, Kenneth Gray saying special shout out to Dorothy and Lily. And Dorothy is saying, Sonny, where you're there, you actually come out for the purple. So Kenneth Gray, the purple drew him out. Yes, he's out. Okay, my next point, Richard, for Kingston
Sonny Gray.
College.
Is Sonny
Yes,
Gray up on there?
yes, Sonny Gray's there. He's saying he will see you at Champs.
Sonny, how you know? Sonny is my teammate. I'm a schoolmate, man.
Yes, man.
Okay, good.
He will be in the stands. He said, Richard, kudos to you. See you at Champs. Okay,
All
my
right, come
next
check my
point
friend.
is
Yes.
Foggy Burrows was very instrumental at Kingston College during the 14 years straight winning streak, 1962 to 1975. Am I right again?
You're correct. You're correct. I,
Correct
I, I,
again?
I want to give you another one too, right? That
Okay.
well, a lot of persons know, but this one is a big one. It's a big one. And it's going back to pen relays because they were pioneers itself. When Kingston College went to Penn Relays, the coach was none other than Herb McKinley from Calabar.
Say
Yep.
that again. I don't believe that one. I don't believe that one.
In 1964, when the contingent, Kingston College contingent, went to Penn Relays, the coach of Kingston College team to go at Penn Relays was not only Donovan Davis, but also Herb McKinley.
Wow, I never know that.
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
wow.
yep,
Wow. I love this.
yep.
I love this. It is a learning and a teaching moment. Thank you for that because I did
Yes,
not
it is.
know that.
Yes, it is.
Wow. So the great
Yep.
Mr. Herb McKinley, he was also affiliated with the Purples. Awesome.
Of course,
Awesome.
of course, of
I love
course.
that. Yes.
There's one thing about what I learned from how, because our dearest and Herb McKinley was very, very close. Hi,
Mhm.
Quinton. Hi, Shannon. Their son and daughter. The one thing I learned from Mr. A and Mr. Hewitt and George Thompson and so on, those greats from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, you know, again, they are Heather. They shared,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
fact of the matter, I want to give a shout out to Julian Robinson because Julian Robinson is the throws coach for Calabar and has been
Hmm.
the throws coach for Jamaica for a long, long time. And I see this kind of trait in Julian as well, right? And I give him a lot of kudos because Julian reminds me of Herb McKinley and what I was taught about and what I saw about Herb McKinley. He didn't, all right, school and so on was great for him. But if he sees a talent, he's able to work with that talent. Whether you go to Calabar, whether you go to KC, whether you go to Stets, no matter what it is, he'll work with it. And I saw that and witnessed that in Julian Robinson as well. So, hello, Julian. Yourself.
Indeed. Yes,
Your turn.
I've met Julian Robinson. Nice person. I like to be around him. You laugh a lot. But you mentioned something just
Hmm.
now that those people back then, they shared,
Hmm.
they look after
That's
the
right.
athletes. It never mattered to them which school. And I've heard it about Mr. G.C. Foster. I've heard it about Herb McKinley. I've heard it about Foggy
Hmm.
Barrows. I've heard it about
Foggy
so
Barrett. That's right.
many. Foggy Burrows was
Yeah.
another one. He was very instrumental. He would help athletes from it doesn't any school you go, it never matter. And
Then
that
it doesn't matter.
we need more of that. We need more of that. Yeah, we need
Yeah,
more of
yeah,
that.
yeah, we do. We
Yeah,
need for yeah,
we need more
it's
community.
continuing. We need for it
Yeah,
to continue.
yeah.
I would like to put David Riley right now in that category in terms
Yeah.
of the coaches that will extend their intellectual knowledge to an athlete, to a fan. I heard you
Yeah,
mention his name the other day in helping you
yeah.
with your data,
With my
right?
research, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
with your research,
mm,
David Riley is one of those. I actually saw him today at the stadium this evening at the stadium as
yeah.
well, and so it is there, but we want for it to enhance itself. We want for it to mushroom some more,
Mm-hmm.
because it's as you said, it's champs time now, but it all comes down to Jamaica itself because
Yeah,
I was privileged under Mr. Ayres and also under former President Warren Blake, Dr. Blake, and now President Gartgill to have represented Jamaica many times as a manager or an assistant manager, not only to carry off the games, but to junior worlds and to world championships and so on. And I've witnessed, the type of camaraderie coaching around a Jamaica team. And there were
mm-hmm.
Jamaica team was made of KC and Calabar and JC
All
and
the
Stets
schools
and
here and
Bear and
St. Jago and
all the teams,
the whole
right?
work. Yeah.
Right, and you would. I want for your audience to understand that while we have that intense competition, the rivalry at champs, what comes out of that? is the greatness of camaraderie as with these athletes as well. So when they
Amen.
go on the international stage together, international stage together, it is awesome how they interact with each other, how they
Yes,
support each other, and so on and so forth. Something that I witnessed, and I am fortunate and I'm grateful to the J3s to have had that confidence with me over the period of
indeed,
years.
indeed. It takes a village, it takes a community. But Daniel England is saying, Herb, it was, no, he's saying that it was the first team Herb took overseas to compete, and that's the 1964 Kingston College team that you're
64 team,
talking
yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 64,
about.
yeah. The
Yeah, that
64 team,
Daniel
yes, yes,
is confirming it. Yes,
yes, yes.
Dorothy
That's
Scott is
correct.
saying,
Yeah, it was
okay, she's
was
saying
Herb and
Ken,
Donovan Davis, yes.
yes. Ethlyn Tate is also here. Richard, you're too young to know who Ethlyn Tate is, but of course,
Hi,
Ethlyn
Ethlyn.
Ethlyn
Oh, I
Tate
know
is
Ethlyn very well.
another Jamaican Olympian, the Little Miss Dynamo.
Olympian.
Yes, Olympian indeed. I love to give them
Hi,
their
Ethlyn.
time. So she's saying
Yeah,
a
man.
great interview. Alfie
Um,
Dixon, who is repping for St. Jago, he's saying, I knew that Herb Mack was instrumental in Casey's first competing at the Pens Relay. I wasn't aware that he was part of the official Kingston College party. Of course, indeed. And this is why we
yes,
come here
yes, yes.
every week to educate people about. You see what the heading says? Jamaica track and field legacy, and that's what we're about. But the next point is mine, Richard. Kingston
Hmm.
College started at 114 and three quarter east, which is the corner of East Street and North Street, before relocating to the famous 2A North Street. Is that correct, sir?
Absolutely correct. The Gleaner Company.
All right. So you see,
So that address, that address that you gave was is now the Gleaner Company. Yes,
oh, that's where the
you're
Gleaner
absolutely
Company
correct.
is. Okay, awesome. I'm doing
That's where the
well.
Gleaner Company is. Yes,
Okay, your turn again, Richard.
you're doing
We're
well,
all
man. You did your research. You do your research.
yes,
Yes, yes,
yes,
yes,
sir.
yes,
I
yes,
did.
yes.
I did.
Uh, So, people would know this by now. The Kingston College also has two campuses, not just North Street. The 2A North Street is the one that is built, but we will also have two campuses where we have the first well, at the time it was the first and second form over at the Melbourne campus, which is on Ellison Road. I want persons to know that, and that's where our track is. So Kingston College would have been the second high school to have implemented and instructed and built a chevron track, or what you would call a Munda track, in
Mm-hmm.
a high school. The second school to have done that,
Okay.
Calabar.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Howard Harris, Teddy McCook, Dr. Warren Blake, Garth Gale, Foggy Barrows are all alumnus of Kingston College. Am I right again,
Yes,
sir? All
yes,
right.
you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Big names,
Big, big names in the business. Big, big
big,
names.
big, big names. Yes, big names. Yeah.
Your time again, sir. You have another one, or you want me to continue?
Yeah, well, those I want to tell you, not only are big names, those names that you would have named had been instrumental in the growth and development of track and field in Jamaica at
Not
the
just Kingston
highest
College.
level.
Yes, yes,
They're not just
yes,
Kingston College.
yes.
More than four of what you mentioned are now, are what are is and or was the president of the J3As at one
Yes,
point. And not
yes, sir.
only the J3As, they would have been involved with what you
Naka.
would call the NACAC. They will be
Mm-hmm,
involved in PASO, right,
mm-hmm.
as well, and IAAF at the high level in terms of youth development and so on, and technical teams.
Yes,
So
indeed.
both, Teddy McCook and the Olympics IOC, Howard Harris,
Mm-hmm.
Warren Blake, Garth Gale, and GC what's his name again? Oh boy,
Foggy Barrows.
Pocky Barnes as well would have been
Yes.
instrumental in the development. When I
Mm-hmm.
say
Mm-hmm.
development, the fast track development of
Yes.
Jamaica track and field today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that was a good one you played because persons, the persons, if you don't know, you don't know. But
Yeah.
if you don't share, you won't know. And
Yes.
I also believe strongly that you must know what happened yesterday for you to
Mm-hmm.
understand what is going on today, for you to move forward or onward
Amen.
as well. Yes.
Amen.
Mhm.
Amen. Some
Yes.
other notable names out of Kingston College in sports. Lennox Miller, Olympic
Oh,
silver medalist and bronze medalist. Akeem Blake, World Athletic Championship silver medalist. Michael Holding, former West Indies cricket team player. To be honest with you, before I did my research, I did not know that Michael Holding is actually a Fortis. Marlon
what?
Samuels. I didn't know. Honestly, I did not know that Michael Holding was Fortis.
The
I didn't know.
whispering death?
I did not know. I did not know. And I'm a big fan of his. And when I saw it, I was like, what? Is this correct? I did not know. So I learned during this research,
Mikey's
yeah,
Mikey's
yeah.
mother was my
Wow.
form teacher for three
Yeah,
years.
I
Right,
didn't know
Mrs.
that he
Holding.
was okay. I
And
didn't know that he was
and
40.
and let me tell you how big it is. All right? When Mikey was playing cricket and playing for the West Indies, Jamaica and the West Indies, Mikey was still going to KC. Mikey was in lower six and upper six, right?
Wow.
And I tell you, Mr. McNabb, first of all, it was Don Taylor, right? Don Taylor, because he went to school when Foggy Bowers, not sorry, when Douglas Forest, right? And then Douglas Forest would have then retired, and then Don Taylor would come in for a bit, and then it was then Reverend McNabb. He would have been out. So he would have had both Douglas Forest and Don Taylor, Bishop Don Taylor itself. And what Casey used to do when Mikey is playing as at Sabina Park, they would let school out early. And listen, let me tell you, you talk about KC fans, when Mikey bored in the head up, right? And you know, so it's just a thrown stone on the road. People used to come
Yeah.
on school from both Melbourne and North Street in our school tie and our flags and everything, purple flags, everything. And
Yeah,
we
man.
descend up on Sabina Park like the Philistine, man. It was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. Yes, Mike Olin
I
is a KCO boy. An
yeah,
esteemed
I did
KCO
not know
boy.
that
And
great man was a Fortis. Did I say Akeem Bloomfield?
Akeem Bloomfield. You said Akeem Blake was Akeem Bloomfield. Yes.
Oh, I said Blake. Oh, my apologies. It's
Yes.
Akeem
Akeem
Bloomfield.
Bloomfield. Yes.
Right, yes, yeah, my apologies. The next
Mm-hmm.
one is Marlon Samuels, former West Indies cricketer. His brother Robert Samuels, former West Indies cricketer himself. This is another
Yes.
one that I did not know was a Fortis. Alan Skill Cole. I did
What?
not know. I did not know he was a
It,
Fortis.
yes,
The
man.
magician.
Let me tell you. I didn't want to preempt you earlier in the show, when we mentioned Ben Francis. As a matter of fact, Alan Cole was part of that great team coming up, the 64, 65, in 62 and 63, right? So he was part of that. But he had some issues, right? And Alan, there was this agreement between Douglas Forrest and Colonel Ben Francis that would have gotten Alan to then settle down at Veer, right? And he actually boarded at Veer and was at Veer in, I think, 64 and or 65 as well before he finished up at Campion College for 1 year. But Alan Cole is a Casey old boy. and he will tell you that. I mean, there is not a dinner that will pass that Alan don't come in his white outfit with his purple tie and his purple accessories. Him himself is a fashion statement,
Awesome. I
right?
didn't even know that he was a 40. So that's another one that surprised me. Of course, I'm learning. Of course,
Yeah.
Omar McLeod,
Hmm.
Olympic and world champion over the 110-meter hurdles. Clive Barif, 400-meter hurdles
Ah,
and 4x4. And
and also,
Romario
and Clive.
Williams, who was a footballer.
Hmm.
Hansel
Yeah.
Parchment, Olympic champion
Yeah.
at the 110-meter hurdles.
Saw
Of
him last
course,
week. Yeah.
the dependable Mr. Davian Clark, my good friend Davian Clark. Well,
I
that
was going
one
to
I
say that,
knew.
Davion.
Yes,
Yes.
Davian, that one I knew. Of course, you guys are
Talking.
involved in politics and the arts and entertainment. Minister Delroy Chuck is another Fortis. He's a lawyer, journalist, politician, MP, the whole works. Arts and culture and entertainment. Now, here's another one I did not know. One of Jamaica's best actor, Paul Campbell. I
Paul
did not,
Campbell. Yep.
yes, I did not know that Paul Campbell was a Fortis. He is,
Yes.
to
Yeah,
me,
man.
he is one of the best that we've seen on camera in acting, Paul Campbell. Of course, there was Donovan Germain, who is a music producer, and
Penthouse. Yep.
founder Penthouse, Mr. Penthouse.
Yep.
And here's another one that I did not know. One of the most lyrical entertainer that we've had, Lloyd Lovindeer, a Fortis.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Wow. Wow. This is just awesome stuff. I mean, Kingston College legacy is just, yes, as you said,
By the
you guys,
way, I want, yeah, I want to share something else too. Going
sure.
back to your point, you just mentioned Donovan, right? Jermaine. Donovan Jermaine has been, along with Derek Banks and Everton Bunny Gardner, has been our football program director and manager for the last 4 or 5 years, right? So all that you see with Casey winning football, Manning Cup, and Oliver Shield, and so on and so forth is directly behind Donovan Jermaine and his team as well. So when I
Wow.
tell you that Mr. Mario put persons in place, it's people like
Mm-hmm.
Donovan and Derek Banks and Bonnie Gardner, and Perry and Twinny and Yako and so on that he put in place for these things to happen. And not only football, because the same team and more would cross over into helping the management and the execution of our taxi team as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Good
This is what
names, good names.
this, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
But
man.
this is what you call legacy, Richard. 100
Hmm.
years, this is what you really call legacy. And now, before we wrap up, Kingston College is going for what? 36 titles
Yes,
in 2025? Is it going to be
yes.
a runaway or is it going down to the 4x4? Your thoughts?
It's not going to be a runaway, but it's not going to go down to the 4x4. In my estimation, I'm not going to use the word opinion because opinion is a thought.
Right.
Estimation is a statement and leads to a belief. I don't think it's going to come down to the 4x4. I don't believe it's going to be a runaway. I believe it's going to be close. But what do you call close, right? At the end of the day, I think Kingston College is going to win.
You're going to win.
We are going to take our 36th title with joy, pride, and humbleness. Share and enjoy it with joy, pride, and humbleness. So while we celebrate, I want persons to celebrate with us. I want to encourage our competitors to compete, but compete with harmony, compete
Yes.
fiercely, right?
Yes.
And and compete fiercely, but compete with harmony as well, and enjoy yourself, right? And when and whoever wins, or if you allow me to speak for myself, when we win, we
Mhm.
want to enjoy it and share it with you as well.
Indeed, indeed. With that said, Richard, we've come to the end of it. I enjoyed the discussion and, of course, learning a little bit more about Kingston College. And normally, I give my guest an opportunity to ask me one question before we go. So I know that you've known me for years, Richard, but I'm still giving you an opportunity to ask me one question before we go. You're muted, Richard. You're muted. Uh, you're muted. Yes. All right. Unmute. All right. Hold on, guys. He's going to ask me his question, but he is muted. All right. All right, Richard. You're muted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm hearing you now.
Uh,
Awesome. Yes, I'm
yeah,
hearing
yeah. I
you.
think if I, all right. My question is that um, you're not coming to Jamaica to see champs, but it is a watch party. Can I expect you to be in purple and white when I see you cheering for KC instead of Calabar this year?
Richard, Richard, you know better. You know where my heart is. I'm a very loyal person. I love
I
you
know.
very much, but you know me. I'm very loyal. I have to stick with my team. But as you
I
said
expect that.
earlier, yeah, as you said earlier, I will be cheering for all our athletes because I cheer for all schools and I cheer for all our athletes because after they've left champs, it is about the black, green, and gold. So, I cheer
And gold.
for,
Correct.
and if you notice, any school I'll be doing this week, I'll be wearing their colors. So and a matter of fact, this was Tamika's idea because she was saying she's going to send me a purple shirt to wear. And I was like, what? Girl, no. And then when I thought about it, I said, you know something? It would be a good idea to wear purple. Whatever the school is wearing on that night, I'll be matching their color. But no, I won't be. I won't be in your favorite color, Richard. But I'll
Okay.
be cheering for all
That's okay.
athletes.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I
because
know. I know.
I do have Kingston College athletes that I like. I love them. I have some favorites from Casey, and of course, some of the men in my life. They're 40s, very confident and stuff. So
Yes,
I'm a part,
yes,
and of
yes.
course,
That's good.
you and I friendship go way back. So
Oh,
40,
more than 20 years. Yes, yes. A long time. A long time. A long time.
yeah, long time,
Okay,
long
okay.
time. But it
Good.
was good to see you, Richard. It was good
Good.
hanging out with
Good.
you and learning about your alma mater a little bit more, getting behind the scene and hearing some of the things. So I'll just give you 30 seconds to say your final wrap up and then we're out of here.
All right. I just want to wish you all the best, Sado, on your program, the Jamaica Track and Field Legacy. I want to thank you for having me on. Not only to speak about Kingston College in my view, in my life, but also with my company, Laro Marketing. I want to also thank you for your almost 2 decades of friendship. I've known you a long time. I also want to also thank you for letting me speak about my deceased wife. She is a big part of my life, although she's not there. The memories are just there. She was a rock, in both my life and my children's life. So I want to thank you very much, and I want to wish you all the success with your show.
Thank you very much, Richard. And again, my deepest condolences on, you losing your best friend for
Yes, yes,
many,
yes, yes.
many many,
many,
many years.
many
But
years.
just hang in
Yes,
there,
yes.
sweetheart. We
I
got you.
am, I am, I am, I am.
Yeah,
The brave may fall, but never yield. I
but
know you
never.
got me. I know you. Yeah, yes, I
We
know you
got
got
you.
me.
We
Thank you.
got you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here, and we will talk. We will talk.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Very
Take
good.
care,
Bye,
Richard.
everybody.
Bye bye.
All right.
Guys, thank you very much for being here tonight. Again, of course, Champs is in the air, and that talk with Richard was very refreshing. Learning a little bit more about one of our many high school, the winningest Champs school overall, boys and girls, and we support each other. We look out for each other. So if you want to get your school kit, just reach out to Richard. It doesn't matter which school you attend, he can hook you up. And as I said before, he has been hooking me up for years when I need my stuff for Champs. I won't tell you which school I support, but of course, Richard is the man that I used to go to get my tops, my sexy tops to wear to Champ. So reach out to him, support, support, support. It is all about our own people. It is about supporting Jamaica, brand Jamaica, whatever. We eat what we grow, we wear what we make, kind of thing. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm not sure who I will have tomorrow night if I'll be here, but I know that Thursday night, I should have Calabar and Heidel in the house, hopefully Thursday night. But it is the Champs fever, and of course, we're all buzzing, we're all in the mood, and yeah, it is all about Champs. And may the best school win. And remember, guys, the rivalry should be respectful, it should be kind, it should be loving, because at the end of the day, it is about one Jamaica. It is about our children who are going to, move to the next level, and they're all going to become one team after they leave high school. So let us support them, support all of them. It doesn't matter which school, and just show them love, show them all the love. So thank you guys for being here. Tamika, thank you very much for convincing me to wear purple tonight. And all the Olympians and all the athletes who turn out. I saw Andrea Bliss, I saw Dorothy Scott Genius, I saw Lily Hodges, I saw Daniel England, I saw Tony P, I saw Kenneth Gray, Olympian Kenneth Gray. I'm seeing for the first time. Regina Montague was also here. Titchfield Girl, the school on the hill. Marlon Walker was also here. Thank you for being here. Track Diamond was also here. Marlene Green was here. Thank you all. Nick Heart of Love was also here. Thank you everyone who turned out tonight. Thank you very much. And I will catch you again very soon. It could be tomorrow night or it could be the night after. But thank you guys very much. Thank you guys very much. And remember to rep your colors. Rep your colors. It is all about Champs. And at Champs we say, track and field chat we say. And guys, have a good night. I was going to say have a good weekend, because I'm normally here on a Thursday. But have a great week, guys, and hopefully we'll be back here tomorrow. If you see me, send out my thing. Please to set your notification so that when I create an event or when I post a video, you can get it. All right. Thank you guys very much for the support. Thank you for the love. And I will see you again very soon. I'm not sure what colors I'll be wearing, but I will see you guys again very soon. Okay. Bye.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica. One people, one